Shares of Brazilian Steakhouse chain trading up by about 25% in Friday's session after its IPO at $20 a share above its initial range. Well, joining us here at the Nasdaq Marketsite is Larry Johnson, CEO of Fogo de Chao. Thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Ruben.
Now, the float of 4 million shares, relatively small. What are you going to do, though, with the proceeds from that?
We're going to dedicate the proceeds to paying down debt, and then at the same time, we're refinancing our existing debt.
Why take the company public now? It seems like there's a lot of competition in the space.
Well, we are at a point where we've got the human talent, we've got the concept, which has got broad appeal, and we think it's just the right time in the development of the company. The other thing is that, you know, when you mentioned the sector, we actually we think we're in a unique sector, and it's what we call approachable fine dining, and certainly in the Brazilian steakhouse segment, you know, we think that we have defined that in the U.S. We think we dominate it, so you know, we feel good about being the leader in that space in Brazil, the U.S., and really globally. So, you know, we just think we're ready to go, and we're going to keep growing this company, and particularly grow it in the U.S.
You mentioned in the filing that you've got some unique advantages in terms of operations. Talk a little bit about those and how that differentiates you.
Sure. So, one of the unique features is our labor costs. Our labor costs about 2/3 that of our competitors, a competitive set, and the way that we do that is we have in each restaurant a team of gaucho chefs. So these are skilled individuals who do the meat preparation, they do the butchering, they do the grilling, and then they serve tableside. So you've got a multi-dimensional, multifunctional, highly skilled professional performing these different tasks. And it's true, when you're in a Fogo, every table in Fogo is a chef's table, and that gaucho chef who comes out, he actually is your chef in preparing that meat that's being offered to you. The other thing is that our kitchen setup is considerably simplified in comparison to a typical American fine dining or even a casual restaurant, so that you have a relatively simple cooking method. You have basic prep that's done in the back, but the labor is really focused on the front of the house serving our guests. So when you add that up, you know, you get that 20.8% labor cost, which is, again, considerably below anybody in the competitive set.
Now, you've got about 40 outlets right now, about 26 here in the U.S., about 10 in Brazil, and
Right.
then Mexico. How many do you plan to open in the next year here in the U.S., and are there any other regions that you're looking at?
Sure. So in the U.S., what we're looking at, we think we can do at least another 100 in the U.S., and so we would be looking at doing at least 10% annual growth in the U.S. We think that that's achievable, and what we want to do, you know, when you look at the Fogo footprint in the U.S., it's a national footprint. We're on the East Coast, we're in the center, we're on the West Coast. What we'd like to do is keep filling out that footprint, so we're going to do a combination of new stores in new markets, and then we're also going to go back and continue to fill in on markets where we have existing stores. We're in currently 23 of the top 25 DMAs in the U.S., and you know, ultimately we would like to be in all 50 of the top DMAs in the U.S. So we've got a lot of white space ahead of us, but you know, it's a proven concept, it's portable, so we're excited about what we can do here. We do think we've got continuing opportunity in Brazil, and then on the other international, we think that we can take this concept either in a company-owned format or in a joint venture format, depending on the market. But you know, we think that this is a concept. It's approachable fine dining. It is one that we think travels well the rest of the world. So, we're excited about all of those opportunities.
So Asia, Europe, the Middle East, what's next?
We're looking at Canada. We're looking at Australia. We are planning on opening our first store in the Middle East in Dubai in 2016. Certainly, we're looking at Europe and Asia. And again, like every phase of development, Fogo, we're very methodical, very focused, and we do the analysis of the markets. We look for that if it's a joint venture. We look for that very unique partner that shares our values.
Larry, thank you so much for taking the time today. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
That was Larry Johnson, CEO of Fogo de Chao. At the Nasdaq Marketsite, I'm Ruben Ramirez for TheStreet.